Right then, welcome back everybody. So, after a short deliberation, we did a JACKOCAR check. So JACKOCAR used for the first time this season. It was confirmed that Casper's wrecked car did indeed cross the line, which meant he was reinstated to P3. Some confusion, however, from Casper's end, thinking that we were on an all race about Arnaud and Khalifa potentially being disqualified because they didn't pit behind the safety. Sorry, because they followed the safety car in. However, they then made a pit stop later in the race, which cleared them of any wrongdoing, meaning they completed their mandatory stops. But yeah, to clarify the rule, you can follow the safety car in. However, if you do, it is a non-mandatory stop. So, that's that. This is Saudi Arabia. Welcome, home of the Season 5 Championship 5, where Jake O'Sullivan, the current reigning champion with his second title, got his first title and his first win in extraordinary fashion. Went 4 wide at turn 1, a lap car on the inside of Ben Harrett. And I think it was... was it Corey or Kieran and Iceman all next to him? Jake sent it down the inside, and that was the move that won him the title. As we see Khalifa then out on track for the second time tonight. Welcome to Saudi Arabia. So Khalifa shook off the rust. He finished P4 in Singapore, and you expect good things from here. Good things from him, sorry. So Danny Quinn is still with me. This one should be a lot faster. What about your thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very, very good race here. But first we've got qualifying. Of course, it is the fastest street circuit on the calendar. So a lot of corners here. I have no idea how many corners there actually are, which is bad from my side, but yeah, there's at least 25 corners here. Well, some of them are classed as corners when they're not, but anyways, we're on board with Khalifa, as you rightly said, and just on his outlap as Ben Harrett has left the session. Arnaud, what are you doing? What is Arnaud doing?
He's allowed to make an installation lap.
What, to get a setup on?
Yeah. Of course, the Parc Ferme bit has been corrected as well. So Arnaud, Casper and Owen will all be allowed to set installation laps, but not hot laps. So our attention is very much on Khalifa, who is coming through one of the 25, 26 or 27 corners that are here. I am not sure myself, Mr. Quinn. But yeah, unfortunately, I used up all my stats in qualifying for Singapore. So we're just going to have to freewheel it here in Saudi Arabia. I'll try and do my best for you as we begin qualifying for round 2 of the Cup Series. So 2 races in one night, and Khalifa leads the field in both of them. Previous race winners here include Jake O'Sullivan, and that's the only one I can remember. I think we've done 3 races here. Even I won here, actually, in the Kia Series. We all remember that one. The best JACKOCAR win of them all.
The infamous win.
A win is a win. The stats don't tell you how you win, but a win is a win. And so, yeah, that's the end of that conversation. Here goes Khalifa then. Coming up to the end. Sorry, this is the middle of Sector 2, isn't it? This is the worst bit here, this right-left. I think that the right hand is just a little bit too slow for my liking. It needs to be faster. However, it is a very, very fast track. Regardless, this bit's a lot of fun if you get it right. The braking down towards this mosque-looking building. I'm not an expert. I would assume a mosque. And then this long, sweeping left-hander, which I think is about 18 corners all in one. So here comes Khalifa then. Same livery as before. I don't know if any drivers have changed their liveries in the short break that we just had. Welcome back to those of you those 13 of you who are still with us, Khalifa to the line, P1. Of course, Arnaud has already done his installation lap. Do you know who's next, Danny? It'd be Corey, wouldn't it?
Yes, Corey really takes the inside of the corner, but has a massive snap of oversteer going on the exit of turn 2. So made up a bit of time through turn 1, lost it all and a bit more through turn 2.
Yep. Kaya telling me it's 29 corners, but he's not sure. I would go with 27, but I'm not sure. And you went with 25, but you're not sure. So somewhere between 20 and 30 corners is what we believe. None of them, I say none of them, a handful of those not actually corners. But yeah, Corey in Singapore set the early running order, didn't he? He was very fast for a long time until we saw Owen and Ben and then Jake all come through. Of course, Jake and Ben will be looking to actually get some points on the board in Saudi Arabia. Corey did, but only finished down in P7. So he'll be looking to do better. The man that said he would come here and win and dominate, and he hasn't done any of that. So he is a liar. 4 or 5 time race winner in the Cup Series. I think he is now fully recovered from his knee injury, which ruled him out of playing football, unfortunately for him. Corey, however, goes P2. So Khalifa looking good here.
Yeah, it was a very, very solid lap there from Khalifa. And next up, as you were saying, will be Sullivan Lewis.
Jordan.
Going through.
Jordan.
Sully.
Jordan. We'll have to skip Risky when we get to him because I see he's crashed out, but it is Jordan who's actually next up. He is here for qualifying this time. What happened to Sullivan then as Jordan goes P3?
It was coming through that tricky right-left that you say that you hate. He just completely lost the back end on the exit of left-hander and hit into the wall on the left-hand side. So Risky out of qualifying here.
What a shame for him, but it's good to have him here on opening night. As I referred to in the last race, he doesn't normally make it. He's normally on holiday somewhere in a caravan down in the southwest of England, Devon or Cornwall, one of those. I prefer Dorset personally, home of the Bournemouth Massive. But here's Connor through what I believe is turn 8,962. And through he goes. This is the end of Sector 1 and also one of the DRS zones. Or is it a DRS zone? Because he didn't have the DRS open. You can tell how much I care for F1.
Yeah, there's only 3 DRS zones. One through the pit straight, one coming up after this left-hander, and then one going through the final 10 corners.
That's right. So there you go. Corey retires as he should. So corner a little bit wide, but it stays valid. And it's looking good.
Now we go through turn 39, 40, 41, 42, 43 and 44.
Yeah, there was a yellow car ways in the way there. Should have gone to the right, really. He did impede Connor slightly. I think he might just get away with it. But to the line then comes Connor Byers, and it's P3 in amongst the big boys so far. Next up, your Season 1 champion, Mr. Pete Knighton. And did he go, by the way, a whole race without spinning?
Yeah, it's a new Pete I'm hearing.
A new Pete.
Well.
Well, it's not a spin, but it was almost following teammate Sullivan Lewis into the wall. Good save from Pete Knighton there. Recently enjoyed a trip to Denmark with Matt Bode, of course, former driver in JACKOCAR, one-time race winner from 3 starts. He actually won in Singapore, as it happens, after Casper spun in turn 2. There's some knowledge for you. That's a long time ago. Season 4, I want to say. But here's Pete into the final corner as he runs up to the line. Can he get amongst the names Khalifa and Corey and put himself on the front row? No, he can't. He goes P4. So now we'll go to Waze Kuba, the impeding Waze Kuba, who may have affected Connor's lap. But when you look at the gap between Connor and Corey, Ways being on his racing line, I don't think it would have made too much difference. That's 6/10 apart. So yeah, what can he do? Gareth's favourite reserve driver in the final corner now. This is where Verstappen crashed and didn't complete an average lap. Not my champion. Up to the line goes Ways. It's P6. And over to you, Danny Quinn, to look at Ben Harrott.
Yeah, it's going to be Ben Harrott. The traction on the exit of that banked corner is quite tricky. But here we go to the right, left, the fast chicane. Goes through it cleanly. Now to the snaking section. DRS enabled now. And you're just going to be full pelt. It's very rewarding left-hander. If you get it spot on, like Ben Harrott has, you can carry through so much speed. DRS enabled once again through this long sweeping left. It just keeps on going and going and going until you get to this hairpin-esque corner. Very actually high speed through here. Then on power as early as you can. Hug the inside. It will be P5 for Ben Harrott.
So a slight improvement. A little fact for you, as we see Mike Kelterborn in the wall, now in his 101st Cup Series race. But the results from Singapore, that is everybody's best results this season in the race and qualifying. So already something to beat here on night one for these drivers. And Mike kept that valid, would you believe? The game deciding that that wasn't an invalidation. And of course, JACKOCAR rules state you can abuse track limits in qualifying. However, the problem with going wide there is it does make the right-hand turn a little bit tighter. But how has it affected him? Mike to the line, it's P7. He's in that region of every other driver that you would expect to be there. Jamie Griffiths, the first retiree from this season. Where is he? There he is. Crashed out in Singapore, along with Ben and Jake, and I think there were a couple others, weren't there? So what can Jamie Griffiths do? The game tells us that he has gone purple in Sector 2. Is that still a glitch in the game? Probably. But DRS wide open.
I don't think it's quite a glitch. I think it works to the people around you, so that'll be to Wace and Mike.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Awful so yeah, game. up to the line it goes for Jamie. That's P3. Only 2 tenths off Corey, 5 tenths off Khalifa. It just shows what a solid lap Khalifa did, and that's Jamie doing the Verstappen line through turn 1 and turn 2.
Often referred to as the cheaters line. There will be no Owen Wyatt, race winner, of course, from Singapore, due to the fact that he won the race. He's already DNF'd, what I'm on about, already retired from the session. So it means that Gareth Hall, who we were on, is the man of the moment. Mr. Bang Average. Mr. I'll do better in the race than what I do in qualifying. Consistently beats his qualifying positions in the race, does Gareth. That is something you do have to give him credit for. This car, reminiscent of a Force India, he calls it the C-UNT01. I wonder what he was trying to spell out when he came up with that name. But Gareth Hall into the final corner and gets a little bit sideways, trying to replicate his hero, Max Verstappen. Up to the line then. What can he do? Will it rival Khalifa? Here he goes. No, it won't. It's only P8. That's where he qualified in Singapore. And up next is Yuri Hazelaga, who had a shocking race in Singapore, but looking a lot better so far. He almost won this race last season, if it wasn't for Leroy, who stole it by a couple tenths on the line. What a brilliant race that was, by the way, when we come here to Singapore. Leroy collecting his second Cup Series win. Yuri denied of his second Cup Series win, so perhaps he can replicate that same performance tonight. What can the man from the Netherlands do? One of many Dutch drivers in the league. It's P6. It's a lot better than about an hour ago. So through he goes. Casper, we will not see. As you know, he's reinstated to P3. So we'll move on to Yuri's brother Leroy, who we've just spoken about. Still in his outlap, so you're going to get a whole lap on board here, Danny Quinn.
Yeah, we do. And just going through turn 1. Carries a lot of speed through turn 1, has to get it slowed down for turn 2. Very good on the traction there. Have to be careful here not to hit the inside. He does that very well. Drifts a little bit wide there, but he's had to lift off there, getting on the curb a bit too much. Apart from that little lift, it was very neat and tidy there from Leroy through this banked corner. Have to be careful with traction. He gets it perfect. Rides the outside wall into the inside. Now this fast chicane here, avoids the curves, gets it very clean through the chicane. Now going through first DRS, well the second DRS zone here. All over the curb there, but he's still keeping his speed up. Now he's getting a toe. Getting a very nice slipstream here is I think that's from his brother, I think it is. Great teamwork there from the two of them, of course, no teams, but did have a little bit of an oversteer moment there on the exit, but it will be P4 for Leroy.
That's a good lap as well there from Leroy. Next we move to Iceman. I was actually just reading something in chat just a second ago. Waze running a default livery. Now, if that's the case, he would be subject to a 5-race ban. Unfortunately, I don't know the game well enough to know if it was default or not, so I'm assuming somebody will have to report that. Yeah. It won't just be a straight-up ban. Because I'm no snitch, though, so that's going to have to come from one of the drivers. But anyway, here's Iceman, who for a brief few moments in Singapore was on pole, and he won't be on pole in Saudi Arabia. Khalifa still setting the pace. Up next, Declan Cornley. So in Singapore, we spoke about his nearly race win in Australia. Now we're going to speak about that time in Glasgow where I think he had an awful night out and went home early to his missus because he felt awfully sick. Poor man can't handle his drink in the same way he can't handle his restarts, which is very unfortunate for him.
It's actually J-Luke.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is J-Luke. My apologies. Everything, however, that I said about Deck still applies. Here is Jamie Wright, then your two-time champion from seasons 2 and 4, getting a nice slipstream from the champion of season 5 and 7. Oh, they had an awful final corner, did Jamie? That may well affect the end of his lap. Where will it put the two-time champion? Oh, P14. We gave it a big build-up, and we probably shouldn't have. So here's Declan. Left and then right. Not quite as clean as the likes of Ben Harrett, who went through there earlier. I use Ben Harrett as an example, as it's the only one I actually paid attention to. But here comes Declan, one corner to go. By the way, Kaya Langston confirming that it is 27 corners here in Saudi Arabia, so I was right. Thank you very much. But Deck to the line, the man who can't handle his drink, the man who's awful at restarts. Where will he go? P13. I've got to stop bigging these drivers up, haven't I? Because it's clearly not working out. One to go.
One man that you can big up, and he does always, well, 99% of the time delivers, is Kajman. So final lap of qualifying here in Jeddah.
Yeah,
see how he goes.
The other 1% of those times is what we just witnessed in Singapore with a crash with Ben Shaw on the start and then retiring a few laps later. So Jake coming in as reigning champion, but certainly not having a race to remember in Singapore. Can he get his season underway here in Singapore? He is a two-time race winner here, and the reigning champion gets away with it. Gets the power down. Can he bang it on pole? Khalifa's been there since the very start. Jake O'Sullivan, it's only 4th. And Khalifa is on pole in JACKOCAR for the 16th time. He equals Jamie Wright's record. But Jake only P2. But look at that top 4. What a race we're in for.
Yeah, it's a very close top 7, actually. Just going from... But yeah, top 7 is although it is a second between first and seventh, it's still relatively close.
It's
Yeah,
close for these guys. Of course, everyone's still really adjusting to the game. You've got a lot of drivers who are a bit like me. They're not really interested in playing, Kieran and Kyle. And then you've got drivers who have been practicing non-stop ever since they've got the game. Corey Dalton. Big man Corey, by the way, is still yet to threaten the top two positions. But yeah. So once we get all the drivers up to speed, I'm imagining that those times will start to come down.
yeah. Everyone who was supposed to set a lap time did, apart from Risky. So nearly 100% on. Well, no invalidations, but yeah, we've got Arnaud in a very good, advantageous position on the other two podium positions because he's got Risky in between them.
Yeah. And the only reason Risky didn't set a lap is he's too busy daydreaming about the holiday that he should be on at this time of year. So I'll have to inquire and work out why he isn't there. But this is your top 10, and for the first time since that race in Austria, the Austrian Championship 5 in Season 3, some 68 races ago, Khalifa El Khalifa tops a timesheet in a JACKOCAR event. So he is on pole for the 16th time behind Iceman, who is a 17-time pole sitter as it happens. That's how close the record is. Corey, Jake, Jamie Griffiths, Leroy, Connor, Pete, Yori, and Ben Harrett make up the top 10. And then the rest, including Gareth, in 12th. Now, hopefully, Mr. Quinn, all the settings are correct this time. And Parc Ferme is on, so it shouldn't allow drivers to change their setup like they were able to in Singapore. Again, my apologies on that, but everyone was exposed to the same issue. Good viewing figures here on night one of JACKOCAR's Cup Series in Season 8. We're averaging around 15 to 16. I've seen a peak of 19 so far this evening, so that's absolutely fantastic to see. Your support is forever grateful. And who wouldn't blame you for wanting to watch the best esports event in the world? And that is a certified fact, by the way, because nobody has yet to tell me I'm wrong. So we'll keep saying that until somebody tells me I'm wrong, and then I'll dispute it. But yeah, Quinn, you would agree, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would.
Thanks for that absolutely wonderful
definitely
reassurance. By the way, One Hub Racing, if you're listening, he did just say that, One Hub admin. He said that JACKOCAR is the best place to be. But I'm not going to snitch you up. That's not in my nature. As we await the drivers here for the formation lap in Saudi Arabia. Some brilliant races here in the past, including, obviously, the one I mentioned before, the one that I won. I come from... I'll tell you a little story. 7 laps to go. I was P14. I come through to win the race. Not everyone can do it. But anyway, here we go then. Khalifa and Iceman. I was actually speaking to the Tennessee Shagger when we were on holiday. And Ben Shaw, I said, what are your thoughts on racing Khalifa and Arnaud and Corey again? He said he'd always wanted to race Khalifa properly, but never had the chance to because they were sort of different eras. Obviously, Ben was a Championship 5 driver in Season 2, but that's the same season that Khalifa didn't race in. And when it came to Season 3, Ben was having his rebuild, so he was back at the pack, and then Khalifa was up front, so he said he's never raced him. To have these two start next to each other is special. And between them, they have a good, 9 out of 11, 20 wins between them. So good numbers from these two. Yeah. Ben Shaw, the second highest in points all time, and Khalifa with the best record of anybody who has more than 30 starts, and that's a lot of drivers, by the way. I would do the maths for you, but I'm too lazy. So 2 of the best in the league will start side by side, followed by a big fraud and a 2-time champion. So we've got it all here to play for in Saudi Arabia. Quinn, anything to add for the other 16 drivers before we get going?
Just want to say Gareth is the disappointment.
The disappointment that is in P12. There's your tyres, by the way. So Iceman and Khalifa on split strategies, but joining Iceman on the medium is Jamie Griffiths, Pete Knighton, Gareth Hall and Sullivan Lewis. Again, it is only 1 mandatory stop here. You can do it under a safety car, but it has to be from lap 3 onwards, and you cannot follow the safety car in Casper Klein. So yeah, JACKOCAR, race 2, season 8. Making good progress already. So I think we should stick around and do a 3rd race.
Yeah, like you said before, 20 race wins on the front row of the podium. I think it's 33 pole positions as well.
8 and Corey 5, 13 is actually...
Well, on the front row.
Yeah, the front 2 rows is 33 wins, would you believe?
Yeah.
So incredible numbers. The polls are there, but I'm very conscious of time as we see Casper line up at the back along with Owen and Risky and Arnold, who didn't set times. Risky for different reasons. And yeah, JACKOCAR, the Cup Series, Season 8 and Race 2. We're here under the lights in Saudi Arabia, and we are underway once again with Khalifa and Iceman on the front row. We're in for a treat as the drivers power down towards turn 1. And it's Khalifa who gets away nicely, and Iceman who has managed to not crash into a championship rival. It all seems to be fairly clean further back. There's a bit of 3 and 4 wide, but drivers are all working it out together. And there goes Yuri through on Pete Knighton. A move gained as we see Deck, who is out of this race. Casper caught up in this. Owen with front wing damage. And what does that do? It brings out a 5-second penalty for Yuri. And there's more carnage here from Casper's point of view. So Deck, 2 races in a row, is out. Drivers still working out what they want to do here in terms of what position they want. Oh, did you hear that burp? That was really good, wasn't it? No safety car. It is a VSC. And it's Khalifa who leads from Benshaw, and Corey is P3.
Yeah, Arnold with a fantastic start, already up into P13. Jamie Griffiths down 4 positions from P5 down to P9.
Yes, I did note Jamie Griffiths actually not having a very good start. But however, good eyes from you. I didn't see Arnold had made up so many places, so we'll keep our eye on him for the remainder of the time this evening. Mr. Disappointment in P11, and the midfield man has just been overtaken by him. So Arnold down to 12th. Jordan caught out there.
Jamie getting a good run on Yuri, but gets squeezed out on the inside. Yuri keeps 8th place, but that allows, well, the self-proclaimed fastest man of speed to get on the back of him, and he bottles it.
Yep, and here he is, in fact, following Jamie Numbers. Everyone, there's only one line through there, and you have to be so good. As we see Jamie Numbers go wide, and through goes Ben Harrett. There's a move for you. Brilliant. What an opportunist move that is. Fantastic stuff from Ben Harrett. Deck now leaves the session. Thank you very much for your attendance. 2 more races and no more points to add to your total. He'll be back though. Deck, a good sport as ever. He always brings us a lot of joy because he can't restart races. And Yuri is in the wall. I just missed it. He waits patiently for this final car to go through. It's Owen Wyatt, who also has a little bit of damage on his car. And Yuri, does he still have that front end plate? He does not, so there is damage to that car. It doesn't affect you too badly around Saudi, but still won't help him. Back to the front. Ben Shaw is being challenged here by Corey Dalton, and through goes the man from Oxfordshire. I imagine that Mr. Jake O'Sullivan will like to follow through shortly after him.
He is still there, though. Ben was still there.
Yep, Jake and Ben making contact once again, would you believe? Jake to the outside now of Ben, who will cover that one off into turn 4. And what is interesting, Ben being on his alternate strategy is he clips the wall. Oh, and then rails over the curb. By the way, Ben Harrett in the pit lane.
Jake had it worse. Yeah, Jake had it worse.
Yeah, I was on board with Jake. That's what happened. What is interesting with Ben Shaw being on that alternate strategy is where will he come out in comparison to the other three later in the race? Those other three being this man Jake, this man Corey, and this man Khalifa. Listen, this for a battle. Khalifa versus Corey. When was the last time we said that in JACKOCAR? Beautiful helicopter shot. More of this, please, Codemasters. This is one thing they do get right. Arnold's out the race! And it's a VSC. What did Arnold do? Other than crash out, obviously. Where are we looking? Oh, he's there. Oh. That's quite... That's a way after the exit to this corner.
It says virtual safety car, but I think the safety car's out. Am I?
You could well be correct. Khalifa stays out. Corey stays out.
Yes.
Safety car. Safety car deployed.
Yeah, safety car.
And Jake O'Sullivan pits.
Yeah,
this is legal.
End of lap 3. But Khalifa will be taking the stage point here.
This is actually the... Hold on. Lap 4. So the
lap
stop
4 and 7 for both races.
So hang on. The stop that Ben Harrett has made was illegal.
No, because the first 3.
Yeah, he's about to stop now, so this will be legal. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah. So Ben Harrett covers himself off. So everyone 8th down? Sorry, 7th down.
7th down, yeah.
Has all made a mandatory stop.
So, in theory, Jake is net race leader.
Yes, he is. Again, at Singapore. At Saudi Arabia. He loves it here.
Yeah, it's just... but a net P2 is Leroy.
Yeah.
He loves it here as well.
And I tell you what, net P3, Pete Knighton, the man who moved out of my way when I won here, he loves it here. What it has done, though, is it's ruined the fight that we were going to have between Khalifa, Corey, Ben, and Jake. It's given Jake a massive upper hand here. A lot of
because it's such a long lap. These guys, if they were gonna think about pitting now, well, they're gonna drop all the way down the field.
Yeah, they kind of have to pit now, don't they?
Yeah, they do. So it might not even be Khalifa that takes the stage point. Well, I think he might stay out for the stage point, but could very well be that he doesn't take stage point.
Well, we are on board. We shall see what Khalifa does. He was your pole sitter, but will he be your race winner? Oh, I think his only option here is to pit. And he's not going to. He's going to play the long game, which is take the playoff point. That will benefit him later in the season. Ben, however, as you say, bailing out.
Yeah, Ben and Jamie.
Casper. So let me go back to your stops. So everyone but the top 4 has made a stop.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out, because Khalifa, of course, well, Khalifa, Corey and Casper all started on the softs. They will probably have to pit the lap after the safety car comes in.